Focus on the what is before deciding what to do about it. It is a common mistake to move in a nanosecond from identifying a tough problem to proposing a solution for it. Strategic thinking requires both diagnosis and design. A good diagnosis typically takes between 15 minutes and an hour, depending on how well it's done and how complex the issue is. It involves speaking with the relevant people and looking at the evidence together to determine the root causes. Hope you're all having a great day. Let's get straight into the reading today, and I'll get back to everybody on Bigo. And it's great to have everybody on Zoom. Thank you for all the beautiful hearts. I absolutely love it. Today we are, let's double check, we are reading 2.3, diagnose problems to get at their root causes. I always think this sounds very, very good. So here we go. Actually, by the way, I almost forgot to mention that we are reading Principles by Ray Dalio. There we go. Okay, 2.3, diagnose problems to get at their root causes. Focus on the what is before deciding what to do about it. It is a common mistake to move in a nanosecond from identifying a tough problem to proposing a solution for it. Strategic thinking requires both diagnosis and design. A good diagnosis typically takes between 15 minutes and an hour, depending on how well it's done and how complex the issue is. It involves speaking with the relevant people and looking at the evidence together to determine the root causes. Like principles, root causes manifest themselves over and over again in seemingly different situations. Finding them and dealing with them pays dividends again and again. So it really is important to take the time to have a think about what the problem really means before you think about what you're going to do. So we were speaking about water and about the headache, and you really want to make sure that when you have a headache, that you don't just do something to solve it. Maybe see if you can figure out, first of all, what caused it before you start looking for the solution. Hello to everybody who is on Bigo. I'm going to actually mention Bigo a little bit more often, because somebody said yesterday that I don't really answer the chat. And one of the reasons for that is because my head is down and I am reading, which makes it a little bit more difficult, but it is great having you all here. Distinguish proximate causes from root causes. Proximate causes are typically the actions or lack of actions that lead to problems. So they're described with verbs. I missed the train because I didn't check the train schedule. Root causes run much deeper. And we'll just let Mladen into the Zoom quickly. Root causes run much deeper, and they are typically described with adjectives. I didn't check the train schedule because I am forgetful. You can only truly solve your problems by removing their root causes, and to do that, you must distinguish the symptoms from the disease. So in this case, what we want to do is we want to use more adjectives so that we find out what it is that really caused the problem. So in this case, it's because we didn't check the schedule. If we wouldn't have checked the schedule, then of course we're going to miss the train because we don't know when the train is coming. So if I say I missed the train, actually that's interesting, because I didn't check the train schedule because I am forgetful. So it's the forgetfulness that caused it in the first place, rather than not just checking the train schedule. So if you can describe it with an adjective, then you'll find more what the root cause is. It's actually interesting. Haven't thought of that one. Let me see if I can think of an example. So let's say, for example, I lose on a trade, and then I think that it is because the market is crazy. That doesn't really work. Maybe it's because I didn't do enough study, and because I am lazy. So then I need to stop being lazy and actually get the study done, actually do the research, actually do the tests. There we go. And then you've gotten to the actual root cause rather than blaming it on something else. Okay, and C, recognize that knowing what someone, including you, is like will tell you what you can expect from them. You will have to get over your reluctance to assess what people are like if you want to surround yourself with people who have the qualities you need. That goes for yourself too. People almost always find it difficult to identify and accept their own mistakes and weaknesses. Sometimes it's because they're blind to them, but more often it's because their egos get in the way. Most likely your associates are equally reluctant to point out your mistakes because they don't want to hurt you. You all need to get over this. More than anything else, what differentiates people who look up to their potential from those who don't is their willingness to look at themselves and others objectively and understand the root causes standing in their way. Yes. So it is really important to make sure that you surround yourself with really good people and that you get very good at finding the right people. And one of the ways is by making sure that they take responsibility for what they are doing, that they accept and are open about their weaknesses and their challenges and all of those different things. And when you surround yourself with people like that, then it is going to be so much better, because those kinds of people, they really push to achieve things, and they are okay with the challenges. The people who hold themselves in and change the facts to suit how they want things to be, those people are the ones that you don't really want to spend your time with, because that can cause you issues by them doing that to you. For example, they might hide the truth from you, whereby you get into some trouble. All these kinds of things are likely to happen. And Rainbow, good to see you again. Lots of really amazing people joining today. I really appreciate seeing you again, Rainbow. Loved when you were joining, and thanks for all the hearts and everything that everybody has been sending. And we'll get back to reading. Design a plan. A, go back before you go forward. Replay the story of where you have been or what you have done that led up to where you are now, and visualize what you and others must do in the future so you will reach your goals. It is really important to see what you did in the past and see what went well and what didn't go well. And I think that I'm going to write down that I am going to have a talk to my VA at the end of every day to do a debrief so that I can see what it is. Debrief and planning. So I am actually implementing what I am reading here. Go back before you go forward. So you want the root cause, and I was thinking of some things that didn't go right very well, and so I want to have a debrief planning session with my VA in order to be able to make sure that at the end of every day, we can figure out what worked, what didn't work, and make adjustments accordingly, because we are not perfect. I am one of those people that is happy to admit that I have made plenty of mistakes, and I still do. And some things work, some things don't. I have my weaknesses. I am not good at replying to SMSs quickly because I just love my work and I am just working away a lot. I get carried away very often with tasks. Yesterday, I was meant to be in a meeting and something else went 6 minutes over. I didn't realize. And so then I was just in a meeting, in a webinar, in another meeting, in another meeting. And then I was doing calculations on something that I am working on. And I enjoyed the process so much of those calculations that I think I worked on it for about 4 hours without realizing. And then there was a formula that wasn't working and I had to redo that, and something was wrong and I couldn't see it. And it took a while. But the idea being, you want to be able to find out what works and doesn't work. You want to be honest with yourself, and you don't want to lie to yourself. The only person that you can really lie to is yourself anyway, because anybody else that you lie to, they can pick up subtle things. They might pick up micro movements in your body language. They might pick up a gut feeling. There is going to be something that they will be able to pick up. But when we lie to ourselves, when we tell ourselves that we don't have an anger management issue, when we tell ourselves that we are perfect, when we tell ourselves that we did the right thing, when we tell ourselves anything that isn't truthful, it causes huge issues, because we can't tell our own lies from our own truths, because we will just take whatever we say as truth. And that's what our brain does. So it's important to make sure that you don't lie to yourself. Okay, part B. Think about your problem as a set of outcomes produced by a machine. Practice higher level thinking by looking down on your machine and thinking about how it can be changed to produce better outcomes. That is exactly what I wrote down here. So I want to be able to have a debrief at the end of every day and do a planning session for the next day so that the next day is going to be smoother. It's going to run differently to the way that it ran today. So yes, we may have done something wrong. Yes, I may have gotten lost in my time planning. But if we debrief on that and have a look at why did that happen, not just what we think is the superficial, but we go to the actual root cause. What actually caused that to happen? And how can we then change that root cause so that it doesn't happen again, as opposed to doing a band-aid solution and coming up with a solution that will only work for a certain amount of time, or that is going to mean that the problem still comes back, but we just have to reapply the band-aid, which takes time sometimes. Some tasks, if it doesn't work properly, then you actually have to spend maybe an hour getting the problem fixed, as opposed to getting rid of the root cause, which means that you don't have to spend that hour fixing the problem. The root cause has eliminated the problem entirely. Wow, this is very good for time management and planning and planning and scheduling and everything with regards to your investing. So this is a really good section here. Part C, remember there are typically many paths to achieving your goals. You only need to find one that works. It's a very short section. So there are many paths, only one that works. And I think that, I'm not too sure about this one. I think that there are many paths and many of them will work, but maybe there is only one that is the most effective. And I think that is what Ray Dalio means, because you only need to, you only need to find one that works rather than just one that works. Over time, I would look to see if you can find the most effective one. So you might start with one and then test another one alongside of it and find which one works better. And then you can eliminate the one that doesn't work as well and keep the one that works better. And then you can test another system against it. So you're still achieving results with this one that you started off with. But you add that second one, you test that one, and if it's better than the first one, then again, you change. So you don't want to do everything at once. You can't test 20, 30, 40, 50 different things at once. Find two, test them, see which one's most efficient. Keep the most efficient, get rid of the one that's less efficient. And then you test a new one against the current one, which is currently the best one. Then you get rid of the one that's least efficient out of those two, and keep the one that's most efficient. If you keep doing that throughout your life, eventually you're going to find a system that is super efficient. That is what you want to be doing. Okay, part D. Think of your plan as being like a movie script in that you visualize who will do what through time. Sketch out the plan broadly at first. For example, hire great people, then refine it. You should go from the big picture and drill down to specific tasks and estimated timelines. For example, in the next 2 weeks, choose the headhunters who will find those great people. The real-world issues of cost, time, and personnel will undoubtedly surface as you do this, and that will lead you to further refine your design until all the gears in the machine are meshing smoothly. There we go. That sounds a little bit like we were just talking about. Refine over time and continue to improve and work on those things. And start with the big picture and then go down to smaller. So what do I need to achieve in the next 3 months? Okay, in order to achieve that, where do I need to be in the next month? Where do I need to be by the end of this week? Where do I need to be by the end of today to get to where I need to be by the end of the week? So I have recently been starting something new, which is on a Sunday, I sit down and I think about what are my goals for the 3 months. I've already got some on the wall, and up on that wall I have what my goals are for the next 7 years actually, but I will have a look at what is the goal for this year based on that 7-year plan. Okay, so where do I need to be in 3 months to be on track with that yearly plan? Okay, so now that I have that 3 months, where do I need to be by the end of the month to be able to get that on track? Where do I need to be this week? Where do I need to be today? And then what I will do is I will have a look at that weekly and I'll say, okay, what do I need to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to get to that goal? And then I will plan everything in. And in order to get everything done that I want to do for a week, the whole time schedule gets filled up quite quickly. And so I probably need to open up more time to be able to do other things that pop up spontaneously, calls that I need to make, people that I need to get back to. So I've eliminated a lot of things in order to be really efficient, but now I need to put some things back in. And that is one of my challenges sometimes, because I will just plan in so many different things that my day starts sometimes at 4:30 and I don't finish till 9 p.m. But I am enjoying every single moment of it, because what I am doing brings me a lot of joy and it brings me a lot of satisfaction. So there'll be meetings with clients and meetings with other people and webinars and different other things that I am learning, that I need to learn in order to be able to execute the things that I'm working on. But there's just so much that then gets filled in. Sometimes we do too much. So for example, I'm also learning Chinese, but I cut that back a lot. I only do one sentence at the end of every day. And so I'm not allowed to go to bed until I've done my one sentence. So I plan it in very often, say, for example, at 3 p.m., so that I know that my Chinese sentence is done, and then I can shut off at 5 p.m. That's the plan. Shut off at 5 p.m. But then I don't necessarily do that, because I'm working on a spreadsheet, doing calculations, and I'm enjoying it so much. I lose track of time. I'm not looking at my watch at all. And then the day just powers and powers and powers. And then I'll see a message come in that has to be dealt with urgently. And so then I will get onto another task that I need to perform. And so it's really important to make sure that you plan your day so that everything that needs to be done is on there, and that it doesn't need to change. I still find that sometimes my planning has some things in there that cause it to change a little bit, and that is what I need to avoid. So I need to go to the root cause of that. So hopefully that gives you lots of great things that you can think of, that you can also adjust. So maybe you need a debrief at the end of the day. Maybe you need to start planning on Sunday for the whole week. Maybe you can actually have your goals. So there's a famous management consultant, management guru from probably the 80s and 90s called Peter Drucker. And Peter used to say, what gets measured gets managed. So if you know where the issues are, if you know what your weight is, you can do something about it. So if I know that I'm 20 kilos overweight, then I can do something about it, because I know that it's the case. If I deny it and refuse to get on the scale, and if I don't weigh myself, then I can very easily tell myself that everything is fine. I'm not going to change anything. And how am I going to know whether it's changed anyway? If I am overweight and I don't get on the scale, then if I start doing a little bit of exercise, I might not notice the difference at first. And so I'll say, well, that's not working, because I can't measure. But if I measure, if I say, okay, I notice that I'm 20 kilos overweight, and then I do a little bit of exercise and I jump on the scale again and I see that I'm now only 19 kilos overweight. Now I can see that there is a change and that I can see it's working. And so I will actually do something about something when I've measured it. So in our lives, we need to measure. We need to be aware of what is happening, so that we can make our plans based on the awareness of what is changing, what is working, what is not working. Wow. Design a plan is a very, very fascinating topic, just like yesterday. This book is very good. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. Okay, E, write down your plan for everyone to see and to measure your progress against it. This includes all the granular details about who needs to do what tasks and when. The tasks, the narrative, and the goals are different, so don't mix them up. Remember, the tasks are what connect the narrative to your goals. So, was that because we just spoke about measuring that we did that? Maybe we're up to part F. But anyway, we've already discussed that, if we hadn't already read that. Okay, recognize that it doesn't take a lot of time to adjust a good plan. A plan can be sketched out and refined in just hours or spread out over days or weeks. But the process is essential because it determines what you will have to be effective, what you will have to do to be effective. Too many people make the mistake of spending virtually no time on designing because they are preoccupied with execution. Remember, designing precedes doing. So it doesn't have to take a lot of time. You can start with a very basic plan, just a rough outline. And then over time, you can start working it out. So I once wrote a My Ideal Partner page, and it ended up being 5 pages long. And I got some ideas on what kinds of things I needed to talk about in there. So what kind of, how the domestic things were done, and whether that person that I wanted to attract was happy to do dishes, not happy to do dishes, who did which roles, how it would work, all of those different kinds of things, what the relationship would be like, how the communication would be. So there were all these little dot points that I had. But then I started filling them in. And by the end of, I think, the first day, I had half an A4 page. And then as I was going through my day, I thought of other things. And so I started adding to it. Eventually, after about probably 4 or 5 days, I had 5 pages worth of information. Now, the other interesting thing is that I found exactly that person because I read it every day. I focused on it. I thought about it. I imagined it. And I actually found somebody that ticked every box. That was exactly as I described on those 5 pages. Interestingly, she said that there was one thing that wasn't the case. And then the next morning she remembered that, yes, that was actually also the case. Very, very funny, that one. But the idea is that the plan doesn't have to be that intensive. You can start with something simple and just add to it as you go along. And then you start executing that plan. And you have that plan so that you know when you're deviating off and when you're not. It's the same as measuring. If it's the weight, then you can measure how much it is, and you can see whether what you're doing is working or not working, whether you are eating cake and the weight is going up, or whether you're exercising and the weight is going down. So don't be afraid to make the plan, because the plan can start very simple and can just be added to. And even very simple plans are better than having no plan and having no aim and going anywhere, as opposed to having a plan and being able to see that you're at least heading in the right direction. And as that plan gets a little bit more detailed, as you get clearer, you'll be able to add more details. And as it gets clearer, you'll be able to see even more clearly whether you are on track or not. Okay, let's leave it there. We're up to 2.5. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about push through to completion. I like the idea of that one. And I'm looking forward to the ideas that come up around that one as well. So, hope you enjoyed that. I had fun reading to you. Some really deep thoughts came up on that one, and I hope that they were helpful for you and that it gives you something that you can work on and implement during this week. So, if you liked this reading, if you like this series, you can find the recordings of me reading Principles by Ray Dalio. You can find the other books that I've read, The Art of Thinking Clearly, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and those videos are up on YouTube at the Passive Cash Flow Club. Also up on the Passive Cash Flow Club, make sure you subscribe, because there are also question and answer videos that we also upload on a weekly basis. If you subscribe, you'll be notified when those arrive. And who knows, they might be a question that you have that helps you solve a challenge that you are working on, that helps you achieve your goals. If you have a question, you can also ask that question by going to Instagram, business_team_6_official. You'll be able to find me there and ask your question on the economy, on how things work, on wealth creation, on financial freedom, investment, anything you'd like. I'm happy to answer it when it is one of those topics. I love talking about it, and I'm looking forward to getting to know so many more of you. So feel free to reach out, and when I have a chance, I will get back to you. And I look forward to getting to know you, because it's one thing to see your comments here on the screen, and it's another to actually have a conversation with you, get to know you, find out what makes you tick, which is always a lot of fun. So that's one thing that you can do. The other thing is we also have catch-ups, we have networking events, we have cash flow and simulation events. And those allow you to be able to practice the things that you want to do in real life, that you may already be doing and not getting the results with that you want, whether it's business, real estate, stock market, cryptocurrency, any other kind of investment vehicle. It's a way to be able to practice and to learn and to get better at the skills of being able to invest, and then we'll also support you to be able to take it from where you are to a higher level. Or if you are completely new, come and join us and we will show you how it all works and then help you build that bridge from not reality to reality, so that you can actually start doing the things that you've always dreamed of, whether it's starting a business, buying real estate, buying stocks, whatever kind of investment, whatever kind of vehicle you want to use in order to be able to achieve an amazing lifestyle and an amazing life, is what you will be able to do when you come and join us. And again, I would love to get to know more of you in person. So I'm looking forward to that. Have an absolutely amazing day today. Remember to make the switch to unlock your rich, because if you keep doing things the same way, nothing will happen. So attend events, do different things, get out there and make that switch, and you will unlock your rich, not just in finances, but in relationships, in health, in every area of your life. And then I'm looking forward to seeing you all again tomorrow for another reading. I'm going to stop the recording. We're going to put that up on YouTube on the Passive Cash Flow Club. And I'm going to quickly jump across to Bigo and say hello to everybody over there.